Hello, everyone. Welcome to 7 a.m. Motivation. I'm your host, Welvin Omar Salam. Today, we're going to jump into the fact that how far you can, how far your business can go is how far you have gone in personal development. Personal development. What is personal development? Personal development is who you are as a person. So, who you are as a person from where you've been to what you are now to where you're going. So, you know where you are now. You might not know where you've been. You have to map that out. You have to think about where you've been, or actually, excuse me, remember. You have to remember. Everybody don't remember right away. You have to put thought to it. Remember where you've been, and then you have to know where you're going. So you have to think about where you're going. Or erasing the word think. Think is the noun. Think, you think now. You think and act. Now, actually, thinking precedes action, hopefully. Think, then act. Now, where you're going, you need to dream. Everyone deserves to dream. Everyone dreams. Whether you dream at night or daydream in the day, we dream. We need dreams. But don't let your dream catch you not thinking. You're just dreaming. You need to dream when it's time to dream. Then you need to put a plan together so you can think on that plan and act on that plan and to get the result of the dream. But where does remembering where you've been come into play? Well, if you've done this dream before and it came out raw, if it came out raw, messed up, well, what are you remembering about this dream that you're going to do different next time? So when you plan, you do a different plan, you think differently, act differently, and then your result will be different. But if you dream it again, plan the same plan, think the same thoughts, act the same actions, you get the same result. If you don't remember where you've been. So actually, now if you find something winning and you're doing it winning and it's a good result, then dreaming that dream, planning that plan, thinking that thought, acting that act, and getting that same great result. Oh, that's a winning formula. Now it's a formula. But remember, even when you're doing bad, that's a formula. It's not just happenstance that you turn out uh, totally upside down. Okay, you'll turn upside down every time. Why? Because it's a formula. It's a formula, and you have to remember the formula. You have to remember the formula for bad, and you have to remember the formula for good. You have to remember both of these formulas. What you use, however, is your choice. But you have to, and I say have to because if you are not a meaningful specific, you are a wandering generality. Meaning, if you don't specify what you mean, you will get a general nothingness, just randomness. You don't want that. You don't want just random results. Are you serious? Is that what you want? We don't want that. I don't want that. I know you don't want that. You want a specific result that's meaningful to your existence. So how do we do that? How do we not be a wandering generality? How do we become a meaningful specific? Well, we have to think, act, plan, get the result of the dream by remembering the bad outcome, the good outcome. These are the experiences that you've had. Your experiences shape the fabric of your life, of your memories. Oh, I had a good time. Oh, I had a bad time. Is that all you remember? Do you remember the act that made that bad time? The act that made that good time? What about the thought that led to that act that made that good time or made that bad time? How about the plan you enacted to make that thought, to make that act, to make that bad time, or the thought that you enacted to make that plan, to make that act, to make that good time? Because you dreamed it up. You sat there and you dreamed it up. It was you. You did this. Do you remember? Because if we don't put things to thought, you'll wind up making the same chaotic formula. See, if everything emanates from source, I'm going to put source up here. Source. And source, he gave you life. Life. Now, from life comes a multitude of life. You're one life. Multitude of life. Multitude of life. Multitude of life. Multitude of options. Every single one of these lives has options. Every one of those lives has options. Oh, everybody gets the same 24 hours in a day, right? To do all that they can do that they're doing. Whether they realize it or not is up to them. But from one came many. Why do I say that? Well, from peace comes chaos. If you don't center yourself back to peace. Now you can have a multitudinous peace. Not each one of these are beneficial, not just straying off to their own chaos. So what happens, I put 6 up here. I have 6 children. Didn't even know I put that up there like that. You can't see the cameras down. There's 6 up here. The point I'm making is this. If it's just you and your thoughts, and these are your actions, let your actions be beneficial. Don't let your actions stray into more actions, that 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 stray into more actions. And you don't know how to stop it. You can't stop it then. You can only stop it when it's within your, I call it my jurisdiction, within my head, within my hands, within my reach, within my scope, within my ability to control my actions. Only mine can I control. not anyone else's, not after it left my mouth, voice, not after it left my hand, actions, voices, speech, speech, not after it left my mouth or my hands. After it left that, it's not no longer in my control. It affected other people. It affected other things. That vibration went into something else from me, from my so-called source of peace, which is me. We say we're peaceful, is what I'm saying. We say we're peaceful, but there is an ultimate source of peace. God is the ultimate source of peace. We just say we're peaceful. My last name is Salam. I am not the source of peace. I hope to give that part of me to others, but I need to become what I want to see. Be the change you want to see in the world, Gandhi said. Be that. Make it happen. Captain, don't say that you can't control yourself, for that is the only one that you can control. If you think, plan, then act. Not act, then think about the plan you could have had, or then act and then plan about a thought or dream or act, then dream about how it could have been better. The result shouldn't be what shows you how to act. Sometimes we need sometimes seeing the result shows us how to act, but you shouldn't look at it from only that perspective. You should look at it like, okay, what do I want to accomplish first before I go make a bad decision? We have to become aware of our thought process. As a man thinketh, so is he. So, what are we? Do we think it? Or are we just acting out of random, chaotic formulae? Because it is a formula. It is a formula. Let's make sure that we are remembering the formula that got us to the bad result and remembering the formula that got us to the good result. There's a formula. X plus Y equals Z. There's a formula. That's good. But Z, no, but X plus W equals V. You don't want V. You want Z. But you keep starting out with X. X is U. But W is the negative ingredient. Excuse me.
Hold on, we had the wrong had the wrong microphone the whole time. Thank you. Excuse me. We had the wrong formula. We had the wrong variable in our formula. We don't need W in our formula. We need Y in our formula. That's next. See, here's the thing. Don't you say X, Y, Z? That's forward progression. Remember we talked about forward progression? And one mounted on one equals two, mounted on two is three, mounted on three is four, mounted on four is five. We talked about that in an earlier class. Okay? That's forward progression, upward and onward. But if you add the wrong variable, it's -1. So X W V. Doesn't that sound like it's going backwards? Well, darn, we don't want to go backwards. We're X. We want to go forwards. We want to make it to the end of the alphabet. We don't want to go back to the beginning of our alphabet. We're almost at the end here. Z, Y, X, W, V, U, T. Hold on. X, W, V. Yeah, right there. It's going backwards. We're right at the edge. We're right at the end. We're right at the fulfillment stage. We're right at the pinnacle, the precipice. And we want to turn around and run on our heels by doing when we know it's wrong, when we know it's bad, not when we don't know. We've made it all the way through the alphabet. Progression, progression, progression. And now we're here at this age that we are, at this age of understanding. You can read, you can write, you can envision, you can ponder, you can wonder, you can understand, you can reason. We are here at the end of the alphabet. You know. You can't say you don't know. I can't say I don't know. We can't say we don't know. That X plus Y gets you to Z. But X plus going backwards W that we were just at equals further into downward. Further less that we have. Further the difference of what we want. Further the opposite trend that we want to go. Takes us back. Takes us further away from what we want to progress to. We have to develop. We should not regress. We should progress. This is regress. R-E-G R E-S-S. Regress. I think the first marker was better. Keep your first marker, everybody. All right. We should progress, not regress. Progress. And I say that with all due respect. Keep your first marker. Don't let it dry out. Keep the top on it. Don't just keep buying markers. Okay? Maintain your marker. That's a little note to husbands out there. All right, look. We want to progress, not regress. So it's X, Y, Z. We've made it to the end of the alphabet. X, Y, Z. Don't go back. X, W, V. Don't go backwards. X plus Y equals Z. That's the formula for good. Not X plus W equals V. That's the formula for bad. Remember these formulas? It will serve your life. They will serve your life. Inshallah. God wills. That's my talk. You know, I always got to take it to math. That's how my brain works. Okay, this is all I can give you is what I know. But yeah, key to personal development is you. The key to personal development is you. Underline you and underline key so that it reads the key to personal development is you, like Jim Rohn says. Okay? Now, if we go over a little bit, it's because I'm going to play a little Jim Rohn. All right? And I'm going to play that exact one that I got that from. Let's see. Share our screen. Okay. Gonna go on Google. The key to personal development is you, Jim Rohn, YouTube. See if we can find that one. Oh no, the major key. He said the major key to personal development is you. There we go. The major key to your better future is you. I say the major key to your personal development is you, but that's true. Both are true. Had it off a little bit. Okay. Yeah, this one right here.
When tragedy strikes,
your ability and willingness to discipline yourself to accept personal responsibility for your life is essential to happiness, health, success, achievement, and personal leadership. It can become an emotion.
Oh no, we need a better one. Because this right here, I can't hear this very well. Let's take this and copy this, put this into YouTube, and find a better sounding one than that. There we go. That's the original one.
Here's the big challenge of life. You can have more than you've got because you can become more than you are. That's the challenge. And of course, the other side of the coin reads, unless you change how you are, you'll always have what you got. I have found in my experience that income does not far exceed personal development. Now, sometimes income takes a lucky jump, but sure enough, unless you grow out where it is, it'll usually come back where you are. Life has strange ways. If somebody hands you $1 million, best you become a millionaire quickly, so you get to keep the money. Otherwise, sure enough, it'll disappear. Somebody once said, if you took all the money in the world, divided it up equally among everybody, it would soon all be back in the same pockets. Incredible. Success is something you attract, not something you pursue. Success is looking for a good place to stay. So instead of going after it, you work on yourself. Personal development. See, the major question to ask on the job is not what are you getting? The major question to ask on the job is what are you becoming? See, the big question is not what am I getting paid here? The big question is what am I becoming here? Because true happiness is not contained in what you get. Happiness is contained in what you become. So that's our major subject for tonight, personal development. Of all the assignments Mr. Shoaff gave me at age 25, this was probably the most difficult. In fact, I'm still working on this one. I think it's an unending challenge to see what you can become. The next subject is called Basic Laws. And it's good to study the basics.
Murphy's
And I
Law.
call these basics primarily because they come from the Bible. Now, I'm not a theologian or a minister, and that'll be apparent. But Mr. Shoaff taught me that the Bible was a good textbook for ideas and stories and success equations, how to live the better life. I found out that was true. He also taught me that the Bible is as practical as it is spiritual, and I found out that's true. If you look at your bank account and your income and you're not happy, there's several places in the Bible to check to see what the heck's wrong so you can make the changes. And we're going to cover some of those tonight, called basics. Okay, the next subject is my favorite, setting goals. Mr. Shoaff taught me how to set goals. What a favor that was. One morning at breakfast, shortly after I met him, he said, "Jim, let me see your current list of goals and let's go over them and talk about them." He said, "Maybe that's the best way I can help you get a better direction started." And I said, "I don't have a list." He said, "Well, is it out in the car or home somewhere?" I said, "No, sir. I don't have a list anywhere." He said, "Well, young man, that's where we got to start." He said, "I can tell you right now, if you don't have a list of your goals with you," he said, "I can guess your bank balance within a few $100s. Which he did. And that got my attention. I said, "You mean my bank balance would change if I had a list of goals?" He said, "Drastically." That day I became a willing student how to set goals. And sure enough, learning how to set goals changed my life. And I often wondered why no one had ever taught me how to set goals up until age 25. I went to high school, but if they offered it, I missed it. I went to college for a year, never heard it. I worked for Sears. Really. And to my knowledge, Sears never taught it. Right? How to set goals. So here I am, age 25, married, my family's starting, I've been to college, I'm working, and I still don't know how to set goals. But fortunately, when I was 25, I met the man who taught me how, and it revolutionized my whole life. Economically, socially, personally, it's incredible. So I want to share with you tonight what Mr. Shoaff shared with me, how to set goals. It can be a life changer. Okay, the next subject is the negative part of the seminar. Life is part negative, so we got to talk about the negative. And this subject is called diseases.
Didn't I say you got to know what the bad is?
Of attitude. Diseases of attitude. There's a lot of things that can wreck your chances to do well. We live in a rather dangerous world, so you got to be not only wise, you got to be careful. Now, attitude diseases are just as bad as physical diseases, right? High blood pressure, heart trouble. I mean, a lot of things lace your chances to do well. So you've got to be careful. And attitude diseases are deadly. I mean, they'll destroy all the good things you start. Okay? So we'll go through those attitude diseases, how to spot them, how to look for them, what they are, and the cure. And I'm a pro on these because I've had them all, so I can give you excellent advice on these. Now, the last subject we're going to consider tonight is called the day that turns your life around. The day that turns your life around. And under this subject, we're going to talk about the emotions that can change your life. Human beings are emotional creatures, and emotions are powerful for life change. Now, of course, emotions are so powerful they can go either way on you. Emotions can either build or destroy. So you really have to employ emotions properly. We call civilization the intelligent management of human emotions. If you can intelligently apply your emotions in the right direction, no telling what can happen. Could turn your life around one day would be sufficient. So we'll talk about those. Okay. Now that's a lot to cover in one evening, but we'll keep at it here and see if we can't get it all done. I'd like to have you now jot down the theme of the seminar. Every seminar should have a theme, I guess. We've got one. It's on some of our literature if you happen to notice it, but if you didn't, for your notes, here it is. The theme of the seminar goes like this: the major key to your better future is you. That's the theme of our seminar tonight. The major key to your better future is you. And I'd like to have you underline two words just to give it some added punch. Underline the word major and the word you, so that it reads, the major key to your better future is you. Now, my first suggestion is, Transfer this to a card or something where you can put it up, where you can see it every day. Preferably put it up where you can see it at the beginning of the day, before you go off to put the day together. This is a good phrase just to glance at, to keep in mind as you're putting the day together. It's called the silent seminar. If you'll just let this talk to you during the day, I found it to be tremendously helpful. The major key to your better future is you. For a big share of my life now, I didn't have this one quite figured out, among a lot of things I didn't have quite figured out. Many things used to puzzle me back in those early days. I used to wonder why two people could work for the same company, one make twice as much money. Now see, that used to puzzle me. And maybe they were the same age, graduated from the same school, live in the same community, work for the same company, with the same products and the same services. They've got the same traffic, the same problems, and one makes $1,000 a month, the other one makes $2,000 a month. Now that was my puzzling question. Why would this long list be the same and the money twice as much? I asked, what's the difference between $1,000 a month and $2,000 a month? And I don't mean $1,000 a month, right? I could figure that out. But what makes the difference? Why would one person do twice as well, 3 times as well? Speaking economically, now I know there's more than one way to do well. I understand that. But in this little narrow area called compensation, what's the difference? Well, back then, with my faulty thinking, I'm trying to reason it out. I thought, well, maybe time makes some of the difference, right? Some people do better because they have more time. I used to say, Harold ought to be able to do well. He's got a lot of time. If I had all of Harold's time, I could do well. Now that's got to be dumb, right? Number one, you can't get somebody else's time. A guy says to me one time, he says, you know, if I had some extra time, I could make some extra money. I said, then forget it. There isn't any extra time. Hey, when the clock strikes 12 midnight, that about wraps it up, right? I mean, you can look around the gongs there for a little more, but it's over. You say to the guy, what are you doing? He says, I'm looking for extra time. See, they'll come and take you away, right? There isn't any more time. Now, if you can't get more time, which you can't, what could you get more of that would make a difference in economic results? And here's the key word. Make it a part of your notes. We're going to consider it tonight. The word is value. And I have a little phrase for your notes. Value makes the difference in results. Value makes the difference. You can't get more time, but you can create more value. Now here's the first lesson of economics. Everybody should learn it from the time they're old enough to understand what a dollar means. How to earn one, how to get one, how to keep one, what to do with it. First lesson of economics. We primarily get paid for value. That's lesson 1. Bringing value to the marketplace. That's how you get paid. You don't get paid for the time. I know it takes time to bring value to the marketplace, but you get paid for the value, not the time. Now, since that's true, here's one of the key questions of the evening. Is it possible to become twice as valuable at the marketplace and make twice as much money in the same time? Could you become 3 times as valuable? Make 3 times as much money in the same time? Is that possible? The answer is yes, if. And it's always if, right? Life is known as the big if. Harry Truman once said, life is iffy. How true. And here's the big if, we're going to consider it tonight. It's possible to do much better at the marketplace if you go to work primarily on yourself. And that's the theme of our seminar tonight. Learning to work primarily on yourself. People have asked me for the last 24 years, how do you develop an above average income? And the answer is, become an above average person. Develop an above average.
I wanted to stop there. We got the number one thing we wanted to hear was the major key to your better future is you. He broke that down. Value makes the difference in results. We primarily get paid for our value, not our time. But there's one other thing that I heard him say just now. Let's play it back and see if you can spot it.
Primarily on yourself. People have asked me for the last 24 years, how do you develop an above average income? And the answer is, become an above average person.
Heard that? How do you develop an above average income? Because we all want to know how to get to the bag, right? How to get these dollars, but not just dollars, how to get these hundreds of dollars, how to get these thousands of dollars, how to get these 10,000s of dollars, how to get these hundreds of thousands of dollars, how to get these millions of dollars, how to get these 10 millions of dollars, 100 millions of dollars, billions of dollars, 10 billions of dollars, 100 billions of dollars, trillions of dollars, 10 trillions of dollars. It don't stop. We're just on the low end. That doesn't mean we can't get to the other side, to the high end. But there's a reason that we're at the low end. Number one is knowledge. When you know better, you can do better. So number one, we have to know better. Oh, I'm sorry, I'm still sharing my screen. You don't see my board. Hold on. Okay. Number one, we have to know better. Know better. And number two, we have to do better. That's it. End of notes. Okay. Basically, know better, then do better. I mean, that's pretty much it. Now, there's multiple ways to do better. Okay. And there's multiple ways to know better. But to know better, you have to learn. Learn. You have to commit yourself to learning. And then to do better, you have to plan. Plan. Okay? Those are two things that precede knowing better and doing better. You learn, then you know better. You plan, then you do better. Okay? You can plan from the knowing. The new knowledge. The new knowledge allows you to plan better, to be in the know. Right? That's why it says know. Knowing is a present state. You have it. Now to plan is an action of you doing. Gerund is planning. The gerund of plan is the planning. Is the planning of it. Okay? The process of planning. Now, that's when you can do better. So you need to learn, then you need to do. Learn, know, plan, do, excuse me. And how do you develop an above average income? Become, here we go, become, and that's how to learn, know better, do better, right? Become an above average person. Become an above average person. Let's listen.
Develop an above average handshake.
Oh, I'm not sharing anymore. I'm sorry. Develop an above average handshake. Develop an above average handshake.
Some people want to be successful. They don't even work on their handshake. As easy as that would be to start on. They let it slide. They don't.
Some people don't even develop an above average handshake. As easy it is to do, to let it slide.
Don't understand.
They don't understand.
Develop an above average smile. Develop an above
Develop an above average smile. Not a fake smile. Let's make sure I say that. Not a fake smile. Not a hey, "Argh." You don't have to force it. It should be what you want to get from society. You give to society. You want smiles? You want your bank account to show up with smiles? Give smiles. The people that are signing the check, I'm saying. The people that are signing their check and handing it to you with a smile, right? And you can laugh all the way to the bank, they say. You can smile all the way to the bank. Why? Because you got smiles while they sign your check. You don't want somebody signing your check angrily. Oh, they can take all the money out of the bank and let you bounce that check. Huh? I'm just saying that you have to give what you want to receive. You can't give and expect not to receive it back. Oh, it's coming back. Good or bad, it's coming back. And it's coming back in multitudes. Just be ready. That's why we have to do what we want to have. Okay? Give what you want to receive. Even if it don't come back right away, it's coming. Oh, it's coming in a different way, different form. Might not be the format you gave it in. You might not understand it or identify it, but it's what you sent out into the universe. Okay? Energy never gets destroyed. Okay. It's like a boomerang. I want a good boomerang. So develop an above average smile.
above average excitement.
Develop an above average excitement.
Develop an above average interest in other people.
Develop an above average interest in other people. I'm going to add to that and say in other people's success. You don't want to be a weirdo. All right.
Develop an above average intensity to win.
Develop an above average intensity to win.
See, that'll change everything. Probably one of the most frustrating experiences in life is looking for an above average job with above average pay without becoming an above average person.
That is frustrating. Expecting to you're looking for an above average income at an above average job without becoming an above average person. Yeah. What you put in, you get out.
It's called frustration.
That's frustration.
And Mr. Shoaff gave me probably the greatest clue he gave me when I first met him. He said, Jim, if you want to be wealthy and happy the rest of your life, just learn this lesson well. He said, learn to work harder on yourself than you do on your job.
Oh, that is one of the things I kept with me since he said it. Learn how to work harder on yourself than you do on your job. We work hard on our job to keep our job. Otherwise, we wouldn't still be there. We work hard on our job to keep our job. Well, do you work hard on yourself to keep yourself from slipping? Do we work hard on ourselves to excel in our own life, our personal development? We'll go to training on a job called OJT, on the job training. Slide after slide after slide, seminar after seminar, MP3 after MP3, audio after audio, test after test, certified, 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 licensed, practicing. All those good things at the job. But when we come home, when we're alone, when we're with our families, our wives, our husbands, our children, what happens? What happens then? Do we stop working hard? Or do we work as hard? Go to seminars, listen to MP3s, listen to audios, listen to motivational speaking, read books, learn things, get better, get wiser, be smarter, plan, appropriate, delegate, formulate. And it's because we don't see a dollar coming out of it that we think it's not a job. Oh, personal life is a job. You are with yourself 24 hours a day. You just segment part of that as work that you get dollars for. But the real money, the real wealth doesn't come from the job. The real wealth comes from who you really are developing yourself to be. That's where the real wealth lies. That's why I said the title of our talk today was, and it was a few slides ago, personal development. Everybody must do it. I must do it. You must do it. Everybody must do it. Whether you know it or not, you are developing personally. You just don't know which way you're going. You're going back or you're going forward. Now, people say, oh, I'm not going either. I'm right here in the now. I'm living in the now. No, if you're not going forward, then you're going backwards. And if you're not going backwards, it's because you're just going forwards. And that's okay. It's okay to be going forwards. Let me say that again, because I don't think you heard me. Let me stop sharing. Let me talk to you for a second. It's okay to succeed. Don't beat yourself up because everybody else haven't succeeded. You don't know what they're succeeding in. They're succeeding in something. We don't know the measurement of someone else's life. So we're not going to beat ourselves up because we feel like we're succeeding and no one else is. That's called ego. You don't know if someone else is succeeding because you don't know their trials, their tribulations, their test. They may be winning in their test, but you can't see it. It's internal. It's personal. Their development is personal. It's not for all eyeballs. So we don't want to cast judgment if we don't think someone's going our way. I'm going this way. Why aren't you coming this way? You don't know their journey. Now, if they're physically and visibly doing immoral things, or they're physically and doing wrong actions that affect everyone, yes, it is your job to pull them aside and say, hey, what you doing? But you don't cast judgment not knowing where they've been or where they're going. You just can see what they're doing. So we always say, pull them aside. What you doing? Okay. Now, because there's a roadmap to success, there's a formula. X plus y equals z, going forward, forward, forward. We're the x. We want to add y, the next step in the process, not the step before it, and then equaling the step before that, or worse. Regression. We want to focus on progression. Okay? So to personally develop. Oh, I'm not sharing anymore. Excuse me.
Then Mr. Schoaf gave me probably one of the most important clues among so many things he taught me, but this was in those early days. Mr. Schoaf was very kind, but he was also very abrupt. And he had these interesting questions to ask. I'm giving him a little rundown one day on how things hadn't worked out for me. He said, Mr. Owen, I've got the answer for you if you will listen carefully. And listen carefully I did that day and for the next 5 years. If somebody's wealthy and happy, you gotta listen. He said, Jim, I've only known you a short time. But he said, it's already my honest opinion that for things to change for you, you've got to change.
There we go. Another golden nugget. And I think it's obvious, but we haven't really documented it, right? Well, let's do that. Let's document this. He said, I want to stop sharing so you can see my board. I got to fit it in here. For things to change for you, ready? Ready to hear how things can change for you? For things to change for you, drum roll please, you have to change. All right? You have to change. We're not sharing, excuse me. There we are.
That wasn't quite the answer I was looking for. But that's the answer he gave me, and I pass it along to you on this warm summer evening in Anaheim, California, 1981. For things to change for you, you've got to change. Otherwise, it isn't going to change.
We're listening to a 44-year-old videotape. Just wanted y'all to know. 1981. Where does that place us? This is 2024. What is that? 43 years? 1981. That's 91, 2001, 2011, 2021. That's 40 years. 22, 23, 24. That's 23 years. And we're still gleaning information from this near half of a century old motivational talk. Tell me how knowledge can die if it's uplifting, positive, motivational, inspirational, and necessary. If we stop learning it, that's how I can die. So I hope to reinvigorate this talk. Jim Rohn is my teacher. He's one of my teachers. He's one of my mentors. I learned from him. Okay. I learned from him.
Before I met Mr. Shove, I used to say, I sure hope things will change. Right? That seemed to be my only hope. If it isn't going to change, I'm in serious trouble. And then I discovered it isn't going to change, so I'm in serious trouble. See, I can tell you what the 80s are going to be like. You have dropped into the right place. I did a seminar one time for Standard Oil executives and management in Honolulu. And we're having a conference one day around this big conference table. And one of them said to me, Mr. Rohn, you know some fairly important people halfway around the world. What do you think the 80s are going to be like? I said, gentlemen, I do know the right people. I can tell you. So they all listened very carefully. And I said, gentlemen, based on my wide experience, I can really honestly say to you, in my opinion, in the 80s, it's going to be about like it's always been. Aren't you glad you came? That's inside. I don't pass that around just everywhere. Now, of course, I said that to make a point, but I also said it because it's accurate. It's going to be about like it's always been. It isn't going to change. The tide comes in, and then what? It goes out. For 6,500 years that we know of, recorded history, and probably long before that. So it is not going to change. It gets light, and then what? It turns dark. 6,500 years. See, it's not likely to change. And we're not to be startled by that. And if the sun goes down, the guy says, what's happened, what's happened? It means he hasn't been here long, I guess, right? It always goes down about this time. The guy says, well, I don't like that arrangement. Well, you got to talk to somebody besides me, right? It gets light, then it turns dark. In rotation, the next season after fall is what? Winter. Pray tell, how often does winter follow fall? Every year regularly for the last 6,500 that we know of. See, it is not going to change. Now, some winters are long, and some are short, and some are hard, and some are easy, but they always come right after falls. It isn't going to change. Sometimes you can figure it out, sometimes there's no way to figure it out. Sometimes it goes well, sometimes it gets in a knot. Sometimes it sails along, sometimes it gets in reverse. See, that's not going to change. The last 6,000 years reads like this: opportunity mixed with difficulty. That's how it reads. It isn't going to change. The man says, well, if it isn't going to change, how will my life ever change? Answer, when you change. And whether I'm talking to high school kids or business executives, my message is always the same. And it goes like this: the only way it gets better for you is when you get better. Let me give you the 4 major lessons in life to learn. Here's 4 majors. It's good to study the majors. In our weekend seminar, we teach some people don't do well because they major in minor things. You've got to be on the lookout.
That was very smart. That was very smart. Let's back that up. I like what he said. How will my life ever change? How will my life ever change? Answer: when you change. When you change. Not when someone else has changed. Not when your environment changes. Not when you get a new house. Not when you get a new car. Not when you get a new computer. Not when you take a new class and do the same thing in that new class, or take honors classes and do the same flunky mentality that you did in the last class. You don't want to do that. You want to become become an above average person in that honors class. And I'm speaking to myself. Yeah, speaking to younger me on that one. So you have to change. That's when your life will change. Okay?
And whether I'm talking to high school kids or business executives, my message is always the same. And it goes like this: the only way it gets better for you is when you get better.
The only way I'm gonna put this in capital letters. It gets better for you is when you get better. I know that's reflexive, but gosh, isn't it true? Who better to get better than you for you to get better? Or to get better for you, I mean. Right.
Let me give you the 4 major lessons in life to learn. Here's 4 majors. It's good to study the majors. In our weekend seminar, we teach some people don't do well because they major in minor things. You've got to be on the lookout.
Some people don't do well because they major in minor things. Don't. No. We're really going to write that out. Some people don't do well because they major in minor things. There's a book out, been out for a long time, called Don't Sweat the Small Stuff. Oh yeah, I think that's pretty accurate. Get that book.
At the end of every week, end of every month, you got to check, make sure you're not spending major time on minor things. Hey, we go through that whole series.
Oh, yeah.
Majors and minors. Now, let me give you 2 phrases before we get to the 4 majors. This will set it up and you'll see where I'm going. 2 key phrases for your notes. Here's the first one. Life and business is like the changing seasons.
Life and business are like the changing seasons.
That's the first phrase. Life and business is like the changing seasons. One of the best ways to describe life, it's like the seasons. Frank Sinatra sings, life is like the seasons. Now here's the second phrase. Very important. You cannot change the seasons, but you can change yourself.
You cannot change the seasons. But you can change. And I'm writing this down so y'all can write this down too. These are good notes. Yourself. I'm putting this at the top of my whiteboard so I don't have to erase it. Small caps.
You can't change the seasons, but you can change yourself. And see, that's how life gets better for you, not by chance, but by change.
That's how life gets better for you. Not by chance, but by change. See, I learned that in Islam, that we will not, our situation won't change. Allah won't change our condition of a people unless they first change what's in their own hearts. You have to change what's in you, the core operation, the CPU has to be reconfigured. You have to reconfigure it. After a certain point of time, your hard drive, right? You have to declutter it. Gets all cluttered. You got some things over here, some things over there, some things over there. It's fragmented. You have to defragment your hard drive on yourself. If you got to do it on your computer and it's a machine that just goes and goes and goes, what do you think you got to do for your own self? Change. You have to change. In your body, you have to detox, right? You have to detox. You can't just keep going. You got to detox. Okay? You have to do something. You can't just keep going like you've been going. You have to do maintenance on your car. You can't just keep pushing it. It needs an oil change. It's just going to die. So on your life, you have to do things in your life to get better, for it to get better for you. It doesn't happen by chance. It doesn't just, your car just so happened to just create new oil for itself, or your body just so happens to detox itself out of thin air, or no, it doesn't happen that way. You have to actually do the work. You have to actually do the change.
Now here's the 4 major lessons in life to learn. I've got my first book finished, came out a couple of weeks ago. This is in it, the 4 major lessons in life to learn. Here they are. Number 1, learn how to handle the winters. That's lesson 1. They come right after falls, with regularity. Some are long and some are short and some are hard and some are easy, but they keep coming. You must learn to handle the nights. They come right after days. You must learn to handle difficulty. It comes right after opportunity. You must learn to handle recessions. They always follow progressions. For the last 6,000. See, it isn't going to change. The lesson you must learn is how to handle it. And there's all kinds of winters, right? The winter when you can't figure it out. The winter when it all goes smash. The winter when it turns belly up. The winter when it won't work, when you've run out of money and you've got a broken heart. See, those are winter times. There's all kinds. Economic winters, social winters, personal winters. When your heart is smashed in 1,000 pieces and the nights are unusually long, your prayers seem to go no higher than your head. It's wintertime. Barbara Streisand sings, "It used to be so natural to talk about forever, but used to be's don't count anymore. They just lay on the floor till we sweep them away. You don't sing me love songs, and you don't say you need me, and you don't bring me flowers anymore." A song of winter. But see, the disappointments come. Those are normal. That's part of life. But the question is, how do you handle it? How do you handle the coming winters and the disappointments and the downtimes? Well, you can't get rid of January by tearing it off the calendar. But here's what you can do. You can get stronger, you can get wiser, and you can get better. The winters won't change, but you can. And that's how life changes for you. See, before I understood, when it was winter, I used to wish it was summer. I didn't understand. When it was hard, I used to wish it was easy. I didn't know. And then Mr. Shoaff gave me a part of his very unique philosophy when he said, "Don't wish it was easier, wish you were better."
See? Golden gems. Don't wish it. And we're going back to that dreaming phase. Remember, we're talking about dreaming. Don't wish it was easier. Don't get stuck dreaming. We should start going backwards into a regression. Don't wish it was easier. Wish you were better. Don't ask for a more favorable wind. If you're on a sailboat out in the middle of nowhere, don't ask for a more favorable wind. Can't even spell wind. Wind. Ask. No, don't ask for a more favorable wind. Set your sail better. Depends on the set of the sail. So when the wind does come in, guess what? You'll be ready. You'll be going in the correct direction. At any moment the wind comes in, you're ready. Set your sail better. You can't control the environment, but you can control yourself.
See, that triggered my whole life change. Don't wish for less problems. Wish for more skill.
Yep. That's the one I was going to put up there. Don't wish for less problems. Ooh, everybody wish for less problems. Wish for more skills to handle those problems. Now, they're not problems anymore. They're just little bumps in the road. Boop. They're not big obstacles and boulders that you can't move out of the way. Become stronger. Then pick the whole boulder up like it was a rock or a pebble and toss it away. Move it to the side. Why? Because you've become better. That skill made you to the Super Saiyan of your problem. In that track, that fashion, that focus. Now you're super strong in that, and it's not even an obstacle anymore. In fact, wow, where'd that problem go? It just disappeared. Why? Because You got better at that thing that you had a problem with. You sought how to learn the knowledge and the skills, gain mastery over that thing, and then you acted and got a positive and favorable result.
Don't wish for less challenge. Wish for more wisdom.
Don't less. Oh, man, that's good. Don't wish for less challenge. Wish, because it all depends on what we ask for. You get what you ask for. So you want less challenge, less problems, things to be easier. You're wishing for the wrong thing. You're wishing for a void. What exists in a void? Nothing. So you're wishing to be nothing. You're wishing to be surrounded by nothing. That's not good. You want to be a nothing? No. You want to wish for more wisdom. 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 There's no wisdom without experience. So yes, you have to go through the challenges. I spelled challenge wrong. Challenge. You have to go through the challenges. You have to go to the trials and the tribulations. You have to go through those things. Why? Because that makes the experience that you need in order to have the wisdom. Okay? And I know we've gone for a very long time. Let me check the time here. It's 8:47. We've gone for a long time. 7 a.m. motivation ain't supposed to go this long. But just wanted to really get into the meat of this personal development. These are the things that we need to start mastering. Mastery is what we need. Not, I tried, I failed, something else. No. You're just going to go somewhere else and say that same thing with the same. No, you need more oomph. You need more vigor. You know, down south, we call it gumption. Mustard. My uncle used to call it intestinal fortitude. You need that. That is what we need every day. That's what I'm trying to bring to you every day. That's what I'm trying to instill in you every day. That I can do attitude. Can do attitude. We need that every day. Every single day. That's why 7 a.m. motivation is every day. Every day. We need to start out with something. We need to do something. We need to get pumped up for something. If you stand for nothing, you'll fall for everything. Stand up for something. I'm not telling you what to stand up for, but stand up for something. So that's why we get up with a heart of gratitude. Okay? That heart does not complain. It pumps your blood and pumps your blood and pumps your blood all your life. It has never taken a break. I told y'all before, if that heart takes a break, wants to go on siesta, wants to go on holiday, you will have an issue. If those lungs say, I don't want to breathe today. I don't want to inflate then deflate. Is that all I'm for? They don't ask those questions. They do their job. Your brain does its job. Voluntarily or involuntarily, moving your limbs and circulating your blood and letting your digestive system digest. Let your blood oxidate. These things are necessary. The carbon molecule needs to come out of your body. The oxygen need to come in. These are involuntary. You don't have to think about them. But if they stopped working, just one of them, we would die. So that's the discipline of your body. That is the gratefulness of your heart. We need to mirror what we already are. Well, That's my little spiel on gratefulness. You already know my 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 stance on gratefulness. All right, we have a lot of notes up here on the board. So much so we almost can't even see it all. So we're gonna do what we're supposed to do and take a picture. Okay. And we'll end here because it's 8:51 and get into our day. But I wanted to make sure that we had a little bit of the Jim Rohnness, right? A little bit of personal development being the major key to your better future is you. And it starts with personal development. So I hope you'll have a great day. I hope you've been taking notes and check out the class that we teach on this because I'm going to turn this into a class. All right. And uh, I'll see you tomorrow morning, 7 a.m. sharp. Have a good day.